is a plant hanger pattern anyone can make, and I'll show you how. It's Nicole here from Bochiknot Macrame, and in this tutorial I'll be going over how to make a beginner-friendly plant hanger with a touch of spring because of the daisy knot patterns at the bottom. What's super exciting about this project is that you will get the opportunity to practice some other knots other than your typical double half hitch knot or lark's head knot within this pattern. The knots that we will be using in this project are the crown knot, the vertical lark's head knot, the square knot, and the gathering knot. Or if you want to practice the knots first before making this project, you can head on over to bochiknot.com and download our free 50 knots and send its ebook there. We also have a bunch of beginner-friendly macrame resources over on bochiknot.com, so you may want to check that out if you want to learn a bit more. One thing that was a little bit trickier within this pattern was getting the right tension on the knots. But there are various points while making this pattern that you can adjust if necessary, and I will walk you through that in the tutorial. I hope you guys will have fun with this one, and with that said, let's dive right in.
Listed here are the materials and supplies used for this pattern. You'll need some cord, a small ring, and some large hole beads. Here are the materials I'll be using for the pattern. On the right here, I have the 4mm single strand cord from our rainbow cord line, and it is in a natural color. This cord is really easy to work with, it's super sturdy, and it comes in a variety of different colors. Best part is it's made from environmentally friendly recycled cotton materials. These cords are available on Amazon, US and Canada, and bochiknot.com. On the left here, you will need a 2-inch wooden ring for the handle of the plant hanger and some large hole beads. So I'm using these 2cm diameter large hole beads with a 5mm hole. If you're interested in these, I'll link them in the video description below. To start off the pattern, we are going to take our 4 strands of 350cm long cords, weave them through the ring, and make sure you match up the ends together so that they are even on both sides. So here, as you can see, all the cords grouped together at the end are the same length. And then now what we're going to do is separate out the cords into 4 sections in 4 different directions. So you're going to need a north, east, southwest direction with 2 strands of cord at a time. So I'll show you how I do that here. Try not to move the cords too much so that the ends are still even on all sides. And now we're ready to start our first crown knot. You can start anywhere from this crown knot. I'm going to start with the top section. I'm going to fold it down on the right side over the right section. Then take the right section, fold it across on the bottom over the 2 sections here. Then take the bottom section, fold it up to the top over the left 2 sections. And then lastly, we're going to take that left section and we're going to bring it over to the right, but this time we are going to weave it underneath that top section. So you see that there's a top loop here, and we're just going to take this section and we're going to weave it through to the right side. I'm just going to straighten things out to show you what it should look like. It should look like a square with the 4 sections weaved together, like so. And now all you have to do is tighten all 4 sides. And the first crown knot is now complete. I will walk you through this one more time. You can lay out the sections into the same north, east, south, west sections again, but what we need to do is just make sure we overlap them with each clockwise fold over. As you can see, I folded my right cord to the bottom side over the bottom section, then folded the bottom section upwards. Then I'm going to fold the left section over top and then bring that top section down through the left loop. And then now you're ready to tighten this knot again. This is a reminder, if you do want nice neat knots to keep consistent tension, I like to keep them on a more tighter side, so ensure that you tighten them nice and keep that consistent tightness with every knot. We have made a total of 2 crown knots now, and we're going to make 22 more. Now we are ready to separate out the sections again, and we can add the daisy pattern at the bottom. Now this is the part where the length of the spacing between the crown knots and the start of this daisy knot, we do want to have consistent across all of the plant hanger posts. Measuring tape is helpful here. For the first one, I'm not going to quite measure it yet just because you do have to adjust after anyways. So we're going to take those 2 cords several inches down and we're going to overlap them on top of each other. Then with the 150 centimeter long cord, make a reverse lark's head knot onto those 2 overlapped cords. Then repeat once more right beside it. Once done with the anchor cords, we're just going to pull them on both sides to make sure that the space above is even. So as you can see, one side's more loose than the other. We're just going to keep adjusting the anchor cords on both sides to make sure that they're nice and straight. So here is where I'm going to measure my length of the spacing. So right underneath the crown knots and then to the start of the daisy knot. And you want to measure the length. So right now I have about 28 centimeters of spacing here. And I actually found that to be a little bit too long for the average 6 to 7 inch pot. If you have a plant that does stick out of your plant pot and you need some extra space, I think 28 centimeters is great. I ended up shrinking the spacing so that it was about 21 to 22 centimeters. So I would recommend that length of spacing instead. Continuing on with the pattern, take the second cord from the right as a working cord and we're going to make our first vertical lark's head knot on the far right cord. So take the cord, go under, over, and through the right, and then take the cord under and over back through the right side. And now we're going to repeat this knot 2 more times. Taking the second cord from the left as a working cord, we are going to make 3 consecutive vertical lark's head knots on the left side. . Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our large hole bead and we're going to thread it through the middle 2 cords here. So I'm using 2 strands of 4mm cord, but it should fit nicely within a 5mm hole because single strand is a little bit more flexible. If you are using 3-ply cord, you may need a bead with a larger hole. Now taking the anchor cords, crisscross them on top of each other, and then take the middle 2 cords. We're going to bring them up and through the hole right above. Then take the far right cord, make a half hitch knot to the right side, so through the crisscross cords and through the right loop, and the same thing with the far left cord, make a half hitch knot over the anchor cords and through the left loop. Once done, pull on the anchor cords to tighten. You'll need to pull on the anchor cords as well as the working cords underneath to tighten this nicely. Now to finish this off, take the 2 anchor cords as working cords for a square knot with the bottom 4 cords in the middle as anchor cords. Repeat these exact same daisies on the remaining 4 sides. Once the daisies are complete and the spacing right above is even and straight, then we are ready to make the basket part at the bottom with some square knots. We will be using a total of 6 cords for each of the square knots here. Taking 3 cords from each daisy pattern, so with 2 side-by-side daisy patterns, take the middle 6 cords there and make a square knot a few inches down. And now you're going to connect the rest of the plant hanger posts together with this square knot all around. Once the other square knots are made, we're just going to turn the pattern around and finish off that last square knot at the back. And then now, skipping another few inches downwards, we are going to make another row of alternating square knots all around. Lastly, we are going to use our 60 centimeter long cord for a gathering knot. Now, to make sure that everything is nice and even without any scrunched up cords, you'll pull on the bottom vertical cords. And then once you're done, you can trim off all of the excess cords from the gathering knot and the fringe at the very bottom.
And that's a wrap with our beginner-friendly macrame plant hanger pattern made with 4 knots. If you enjoyed making this and want to explore other hanging projects such as hanging chandeliers, cat beds, swings, and more, we do have a hanging projects theme going on right now over on the Bochiknot Macrame community on Patreon. I do release an additional weekly tutorial on Patreon, and usually tutorials there are a little bit more intermediate and advanced level. So if that's something of interest to you, you can head on over to patreon.com/Bochiknot for more details. I love the simplicity and the subtle details in this plant hanger we made today. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. I really want to hear what you guys thought of this beginner-friendly pattern in the comment section below. Let me know. And of course, if you did enjoy it, it would help me out if you give this video a big thumbs up. And also click that subscribe button if you haven't already to stay tuned to our latest DIY macrame tutorials. We have more exciting projects coming up, so stay tuned. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.